What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Some Assemblies Required favorite nerd, and today we are talking about the TFC Raging Bull. There's a lot to talk about here. There's two modes to get through, so let's just get this out of the way and start talking about accessories.
Hey folks, so today we're going to be doing a model build of TFC's accessories.
And you get a fair amount of accessories, but a lot of them are just assembly things that arguably should have done before it got to you. But let's talk about them. So you have these things which are optional, and they just slide into a tab there. The corresponding tab is over here. This is what it looks like in the bag, and then you just take off 3 of these little niblets and you stick them in there, and then stick that in there, and then you can have that look. If that look doesn't appeal to you, you could take this piece here, which are another option, and they can plug into the same corresponding piece, and you can have the headlight down look. You have 2 side view mirrors. One is here. I'm not going to go through the pain of, well, maybe I'll try one time. It's just, there we go. Smaller fingers will help you with this in this regard, but you can get it. And then you have brake lights on the back that you could put in. Here's the extra set. I just wanted to show you how they went in. This one I've already done. I will show it to you once it's all done up, of course. And my advice to you is to put the more square one in first, and then the triangle one. If you try to do it the opposite way, it is a lot more challenging. He comes with this little fella, whose arms are on swivels and whose legs are on the same, oh no, they're on independent swivels, so that's pretty cool. And then the back has that face piece bit, and you can sit him down and you can actually sit him in the vehicle and then close this around it, and that is a nice touch. I'm not exactly sure I would have thought they would have done that, and they did it. I'm sure it wasn't easy to account for it, and it's there. There's a corresponding tab on the other side, so you can put 2 in there as well. I dig that a lot. He comes with 2 of these. They're identical. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm just going to show you what they can do. They can fold up like this, or you can extend them, and then there's a handle for them. This piece is on a hinge. It hinges out so that when you fold it up, it accounts for it. We'll show it on this one. And then there's these 2 pieces which also hinge down. A lot of this has to do with combined stuff, and they show in pictures, I can show you a picture of that real quick, that there is going to be a way to arm up the vehicle. All those pieces don't come with this guy. I'm guessing more will, and I'm also guessing that the fact that the port is on the same identical side is not a factory mess up, but that one will come with another, so that you can, you know, have them correspond into the same slots. I'm guessing it's just an incomplete thing based on the fullness of the set. He can hold those guns in either style. He comes with this sword, and it also, so this is like the smaller version, and then it does extend out to combine later on, once again, you know, utilizing all of the different pieces. But it is built well enough. It is a tight little connection there, pain to get out, so to speak. This black is painted on, that black is painted on, this silver is painted on. Overall, a decent accessory. And he can hold the sword as well. He comes with this piece, which is used for combine mode, and we will talk about that when we get there. And he comes with this head, which we will also talk about when we get there. Red paint, light piping. You know I disagree with that as an approach. And then the silver face piece is painted. As for car mode, rolls like a champ on rubber tires. You can see there where the little face plugs in from the little guy sitting here in the seat. And we have some Tampo paint on here for the flames and on the side. So that's done well. It's done clean. We have translucent plastic for the windshields. I wish it was done darker. I don't like seeing the inner guts, but that's just a personal choice. We have black paint on there. That's done well. Silver paint with translucent plastic on the top of that. That's done well. Red translucent there. Red translucents we had to add in here, but we'll give them a pass, maybe. And then we have black paint added in there. Silver paint on the tires. It's pretty much good to go. These pieces do come off. I haven't decided how I feel about that yet. We'll see how problematic it becomes, but all in all, I think it's pretty good. These tabs here are for adding the guns, which is fine. It does look a little unsightly just looking at it regularly, but I think that all in all, it's okay. It doesn't have a yellow finish, which of course would have been nice, but we rarely get a finish, if ever. I'd have to think about it for a second with TFC, so I'm not sure we should have expected it. And of course, no review is complete without a size comparison of Tiger Tracks, which is pretty much identical to, if not a tad bit bigger. All right, let's get this thing transformed. There is a couple complicated parts down here that eat me up, but we shall give it a try. So bend this part back and get this glass shield out of the way, or translucent plastic. You can take out your little buddy. You can, let's see, underneath here, flip these two pieces. They tab there. And then open these up here. And then we want to, let's see, these come down. These are all part of the bottom section, and this just popped off the ball joint. We'll get that here in a minute. And we want to open up this bottom section. I don't know why this is not going right for me. Let's just open it up like that. That can get this bottom section open. Maybe we don't want to collapse this yet. I'm sorry. Okay, and then we'll flip this down. Yes, much better. Okay, take this piece and open it up, and then you can take this piece down. This will tab into there. And then this closes over top of it. And we'll do that for this side as well. This opens up, this comes down and tabs in, and then this tabs in over top of it. Now, this. So, you want to... All right. You know what? Let's do it with this one. Get this foot out of the way, and you want to spin this so that the flames are facing the other way. And it will spin on this piece there. And then you can push the tire, which will help you get this foot out. And around. And that becomes the front part of the foot. And then we might need a, you know, my favorite accessory in the world, a little third-party screwdriver. And I'm sure I'm gonna scratch this. Yeah. I'll have to get it off camera. I'm chewing it up. Okay. Now, this piece, let's see, we can tap this back there. This piece here has to come around, and you can spin right here. I hope you can see that. And then that will put, it's hard to explain, but what you need is it to be like this, I think, so that these two tabs tab in there and here, and then this tab tabs over there, right? So why am I not right here? No, this tab, I'm sorry, these two tabs tab in here. And I am gonna make this look easy, right? Come on, girl. I got it, I just can't get it lined up. That's gonna have to do for now. And then this piece comes back over and tabs in to the opposite side. Like that. right? And we just need to get the toe out. So let's try to do it again on this side. We'll get that foot out of the way. Let me just tab that together. We're going to push the tire, and I think the instructions even say to push the tire, which will help you get this foot out and around. And then same thing, we need to spin this whole, why is that not spinning? Maybe I just need to loosen up. Let's get it out of the way there. We need to spin this so that we can get the ball joint up. And that one's a little too tight. And then get these two tabs into here and there, and then this tab into there. And then we can turn the foot around, collapse this, and tab that back into the back of the leg, and that's the bottom legs done. I know it looks frustrating. It is a bit frustrating, but it is not the worst thing in the world. I know it probably looked like it was, but it's really not. Let's do the backpack. I will say I broke one of the tabs here, one of those small tabs. I'll have to see if I can get a replacement part. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. If I don't get one, I don't get one. I'm not the guy that cries about stuff like that. I broke it. It's on me. So if I don't get one, I don't get one. All right. So you need to separate these two pieces here. We're going to do the backpack next. And then you need to separate the arm from the hood, which is best done by holding on to this piece here and just pulling this piece out. Now you can collapse the bumper, and then this piece comes down, and let's see here. Yeah, like that. And then fold the wheel in, and then rotate the whole piece around to the back, which is pretty cool. A lot of this stuff is a lot of moving pieces, which makes for a more complicated and sometimes frustrating transformation, but I don't know. Cost of doing business, maybe? I'm not sure. There. Fold in the bumper, make sure the wheel is flipped in, bring that around, and then collapse the windshield over top, and that has to come forward. And lastly, the arms. Just pop these out, open up this. It does have a little piece for you to flip this one out for the hand, close it back up, and then orient it, and the same for this side. And then orient it. And that's him. We'll get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at him. So before we go any further, we're going to account for this gimmick. Now, I'm not sure if this was the best way to do it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar with the animation or anything to how it was done, so I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge. This guy comes down and sits in this cavity, and I'm not sure. So he can go in there, and then you can close this up, and then the face pushes through, which is cool, but you got to have it kind of just right in there. And I don't know if I have the fingers to do so. So let's try this way. I think it's cool. I just feel like I might be there. It is. Is it? No. So it's frustrating, and I'm sure that somebody with a more delicate touch could get it. Let me see. I'll try one more time. There. Not bad, right? And if you can't get it, you can always swap that head out and put this head on. I think that's pretty cool. I think they did a good job. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So let's talk about the figure, shall we? The head, if you have it on this ball peg, will operate on the ball peg. Without the ball peg, you get nothing. So I guess that's what it's for the articulation aspect of it. But I do think this gimmick is cool, and I do think it is smart how it all works. Silver paint, red paint, that's really sloppy on the forehead there. It's a little bit cleaner on this one. Translucent plastic for light piping for the eyes, which I think is stupid. So let's continue. The shoulders, you get a whole butterfly joint all the way across. It's not the prettiest, but you do get it. Without using it, you get a shoulder ratchet up to there, so no issues there. And then you get a... Yes, and you get a forward movement that's ratcheted there. Well done. Red paint there and on the back looks clean. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, get you the full range. Wrist swivel, no complaints from me. Same on the other side. We have red translucent here, we have silver paint here, and blue paint on the chest. Looks good. With the waist swivel, all good. Red paint on the pelvis, universal joints, ratcheted, get you the full Van Damme. Ratcheted, get you full Monty. No issues there. Thigh swivel built around the universal with a knee that gets you less than 90 degrees, so that's a little bit of a bummer. As you can see, one translucent piece survived transformation, one did not. That's the problem with these do-it-yourself assembly elements to transformer pieces like this. Moving down, we have the silver paint and the red paint that shines through. The flame effects come in on the inner thigh, so you get to see those as well. We have some red and silver on the back, so plenty of detailings. And then the foot, using the front, you have so none of it's really quite right? You have to use the heel and the top of the foot in order to get it, but you can get an ankle tilt up, down, and a bit of a rocker as well, and then a toe hinge down. So that doesn't really help you, but it is there. As you can see, I did chew this one up. I used needle nose pliers for this one, just did one minor scratch. So be aware of that. Yeah, all in all, it's pretty well done. Size comparison wise, there he is with a Masterpiece car and with Bumblebee. To get to leg mode, it's easier just to go back to car mode to get started. Mine's not perfectly aligned, but I think you get the idea. And there's a number of things that you need to do that are just identical to what we did before. I think one of these may have come off the ball peg. That's a problem that I've been having. It's this one, obviously. And I'll fix this off camera. But open that up, open these, open this. What did I do before? Remember I had problems with this before? There, that. And then we have to open this up here on the back. And that thing came out again. So that's the second time. So that's unfortunate. And these come around here. And that'll get you started. Now we have to do the most frustrating part, which is maneuver this armature here. And what you want is you want this angled down. It's just a pain. Let's see if we have any better luck on this side. We're gonna spin it first. There. That's what you want. So let's see if I can't. All right. Let's see. There. I got her. Come on, girl. I see what I need to do. It's just the tolerance of this armature here. There. There. So that these two things are like this. If you look at these armatures, the cutout for the armatures to move are facing this way towards the underside of the vehicle, and then the top parts of the armatures for the second ball joints are facing up so that the other piece is facing down, and you have the two black rails as parallel as possible, angled towards the underside of the car and towards you. Face the vehicle with the spoiler towards your left hand and the underside of the vehicle to your right hand, and turn it around this way. Now, you can flip this piece up here, which latches in to the back of the vehicle to lock it in place so that the waist swivel no longer moves. And then you need to bend the front part of the vehicle so that those ports there plug into those corresponding tabs there. We're going to see how well we can do that. And I think we're probably just going to leave that be for now. There. All right, around the back again, we're going to open up these pieces here. And then we're going to split the legs. We're going to insert our connector piece there. And then we're going to flip these around, and they will peg in with one another down here. And you just got to be conscious of these double hinges. There. The bottom one and maybe the top one. Yeah, the bottom one and the top one kind of are grooved, so they have to overlap. That was causing me the trouble. And the final steps are flipping the head over, exposing the combiner port. God, my dog's behind me just letting loose a gnarly fart. And then these pieces here, they were sitting back here. You just bend those down. They'll snap into place. Make sure that you're double hinged, that the first hinge goes down and then the second hinge hinges up, and then they plug in right in there. And that's that. And it could be all a bit more solid, but I think that you get the general idea of how to make it work. And it seems solid. I mean, it's rock solid. You know, this will attach into the foot, obviously, and you'll get an ankle rocker. I don't know how else it's going to work, but it's not hateful. It's frustrating getting to this. It's frustrating getting to robot mode too, at least in the legs, but it's not impossible, and you just have to work with it. Final thoughts wise, let's look at the negatives. There's a lot of small tabs. I broke one. Use extreme caution. I guarantee you more will break if you manipulate this thing back and forth. It's just all those small tabs, it's gonna happen. The armatures with all those ball and socket joints for the legs are obnoxious, and they are frustrating, and it is not easy nor intuitive to sometimes get them all aligned. And lastly, all the accessories that don't come assembled, that you have to assemble yourself and then end up off of the figure in some way, shape, or form while you're transforming and manipulating it, it just becomes frustrating. But there are plenty of good things about it, and the articulation works. This is the other head plug-in, so you get all the way up. It does destroy the sculpt, but you get it, and then the swivel and nothing really down, just as a heads up. And a lot of the transformation is really fun and enjoyable, even to get to combine mode, and then the way that everything kind of plugs in and locks in combine mode, like they're taking account of everything, that feels good. So there's a lot of things that I do like about this. I do recommend it. Just be careful of all those little tabs and just be aware that some of the transformation elements are frustrating, but I ultimately do recommend it. I think it's cool. The paint lacks a finish, but there are accents all over this thing. I also like the little headmaster gimmick of it, like the face master. Like, I think that stuff is cool. I like that they accounted for it in robot mode. I feel like they really did care about making this, and it does come through. Unfortunately, there's just some frustrating elements, and then elements that are beyond frustrating, where it makes you want to just rip your arms off and your fingers off and everything else in order to achieve the goal. But it is ultimately still kind of interesting and worth it, in my opinion. It's not exactly a masterpiece, but it is masterpiece scaled, and I don't see anybody kicking down the doors to do a Road Caesar anytime soon, so I think it's interesting. I'm enjoying it, and that's all I can really say about it. I bought this from GCI Toys. I'm going to contact them and see if they can't hook me up with one of those little missing panel pieces. I'm not sure they'll be able to, but that's who I used to buy this, and you can feel free to do the same if you are so inclined. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.